Hello everyone and welcome to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Robert Trainham and we are here on location in our nation's capital for the National Association of Counties Legislative Conference. Joining me is Riki Hokama, Second Vice President for NACo. Riki, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
You know, we keep hearing over and over and over again from our elected officials here in Washington, D.C. that we're lurching from financial crisis to financial crisis to financial crisis. I'm curious to know, how does that affect you at the local level?
Well, for us at the county level, it makes it much more difficult to try and plan our forecasting on how we want to approach our county budgets, what is available from the federal government as far as grants or loan programs. And of course, with the reduction of the federal level funding availability, the states also reduce their ability to provide considerations for the counties. So eventually, for our county, especially in Hawaii, all of the requests comes back to the county. And in the end, if anybody tends to be the one that raises the taxes, it is placed on the local government officials to bear the brunt and pressure of the taxpayer.
How does that affect municipal bonds? How does that affect the interest rate when it comes to, at the county level, you and your colleagues around the country wanting to raise money to build a new road or a hospital or a bridge or a library? How does that affect that?
Well, if Congress would like to consider tax consideration of the tax exemption that we currently have on the municipal bonds, well, let me first share that historically, prior to the 1903 tax code creation, it was always a general agreement between what we call the federalism program, that the federal government would not tax state and local governments, and the local and state governments would not tax the federal government. It is pre-tax code, and it is one of the ways that the local government helps pay for and provide our community residents of this country the roads that we own about 44% of, 1/3 of the transit and airports in America, and of course a couple of 100,000 of bridges that we are responsible for the maintenance and safety to help America's economy keep rolling.
So there is a direct correlation between clearly what the your federal colleagues do in terms of what you do at the local level.
Definitely. If there is a consideration to place a tax on the municipal bonds, it will either defer the construction of the project or the possible cancellation of a project.
And where would that tax go? That's what's, I think, confusing to a lot of our viewers at home. If, in fact, there's a tax on the municipal bond, basically a tax on a loan, where does that revenue go?
It'll go to the federal government. And it is quite ironic because I see that as cost shifting. If that is something the federal government wants to do, then I would hope they would reach a policy decision where they would take the responsibility to ask the American public that this is what it takes to keep America strong, keep our domestic economy rolling, and this is what it takes from the American taxpayer to help provide.
Now, of course, federal lawmakers would say we are in an unprecedented financial situation. We simply cannot afford what we promised. We've all promised certain things, and now the bill is due. So what we have to do is exactly what most Americans have to do at home, is we have to sit down at the table and we either have to cut or we have to raise revenue. Your response?
Well, you put it exactly how as we as county officials present it to our residents back home. It's a pocketbook issue, and we must live within our means. But I would say that we as local government officials understand that if we've made a promise, we should uphold and fulfill that promise and not make new promises that we cannot keep.
If you had one request of the federal government, if they're watching this program right now, what would it be?
To please work together, cooperate, and help move this country forward together.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us for this edition of Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Robert Trainham. Have a great day. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.